Hello, folks, and welcome back to Indaba Africa. This is Chris in central Pennsylvania. What you're about to see is approximately 30 minutes of unedited raw footage from the events that unfolded last year at the Capitol building in Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia. You'll see a dearth of police presence. You'll see a ludicrous system of barriers that wouldn't stop a toddler, let alone a crowd of people. You also see some inappropriate behavior by some people in the crowd saying, F the police. And you may hear some of us telling them to knock it off because we don't accept their behavior. We don't have issues with law enforcement. That's not what this was about. It was about seeking a right of redress and airing grievances before the government, which is constitutionally guaranteed under the First Amendment, as is freedom of speech and freedom of assembly. All lawful actions taken this day when permits were issued by the Capitol Police for multiple protests to take place at this facility. In the face of multiple protests and the likelihood there would be hundreds of thousands of people present on the mall that day, the Capitol Police, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the National Counterterrorism Center, the legislative branch all chose to ignore, as well as the mayor of D.C., Muriel Bowser, ignore what was happening. She made a big show of calling out the National Guard, but only brought up 100 members of her 3,800-member D.C. force, purely as a political show, not for an effective force. The dearth of police that you see here at the Capitol building was exhibited even in worse shape throughout the mall and across by the Washington Monument. I read with great incredulity today the Washington Post make a claim that law enforcement clashed with protesters at the Washington Monument that morning. I was there from 10 o'clock onwards. There was no clash with law enforcement. I don't know what they're talking about. Never saw it. There was no law enforcement present, so I don't know how they clashed with anybody at the Washington Memorial. It's got lots of footage. That's in my other video. But let's focus on this video. You'll hear people using foul language. Some of us tell them to stop it. You'll also see an agitator, a false flag plant, a black young man who is trying to agitate and get people to attack law enforcement. People just stand around looking at him like he's a moron. He's a complete idiot. There were several people behaving in this fashion throughout the crowd, trying to agitate and get people to do something, take action. When the crowd didn't, eventually these people took things into their own hand. Some of them are Trump supporters. Some had no idea who Donald Trump is and knew nothing about him, based on their comments and based on the fact of my interaction. Challenging one of them, a young man who's like, "This is war, get in there." And the gentleman next to me said, "What do you think of all this?" And I said, "Well, this is sheer stupidity. We support law enforcement. The Capitol Police are not the threat. This is a lawful protest. Knock it off." And the kid looked at me and looked at me like, "It's war." I said, "How many combat tours do you have under your belt, young man?" Actually, I said, "Rocco. How many combat tours you got under your belt, Rocco?" And he just stared at me and said, "None, sir," and kind of slunk away. But he, along with about 20 or 30 other people who showed up mysteriously after about 2 p.m., they started showing up and mingling in the crowd. Didn't notice them at first, but eventually began to notice several people wearing rudimentary body armor, goggles, even helmets. What was that all about? Well, I don't know, but dollars to donuts, those are the people that were involved in the activities that later took place breaking into the building, not the hundreds of thousands gathered peacefully on the mall. Anyway, folks, this is about 30 minutes of raw footage, unedited. I didn't take anything out. You'll actually hear me in there telling people to knock it off because the police have brought snipers out and your behavior is unacceptable. Knock it off. You'll hear me above the crowd shout that in one of these videos if you listen carefully. There you have it, folks. Raw, unedited footage of the events that unfolded on the 6th of January, 2021 in what is fraudulently being portrayed as an insurrection. Shays Rebellion, the Whiskey Rebellion, the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zones, genuine insurrections threatening legitimacy of the United States in an effort to ignore central authority. This event, an event used for advantage by politicians, opportunists, fake stream, lame stream media, and charlatans. Not an insurrection. Anyway, folks, you judge for yourself, and this is the one-year anniversary of the events that took place on January 6th, 2021 at the Capitol. Feel free to leave comments below. If you have questions, ask me questions. I'll be happy to answer them from my perspective as a journalist covering these events in the nation's capital 1 year ago. If you're not a subscriber, push that button right down there and become a subscriber. Really appreciate the support for the channel. It takes a lot of effort to bring you this, money, time, and devotion, as well as a lot of grief from the ghouls who just simply can't deal in facts, prefer to demonize people. Thanks a lot, folks.
Whoops, sorry.
Sorry about that.
Score, they're forming a phalanx back there behind the wall, and up there they've got rifles. So knock the stupid shit off.
They know if they use rifles all over. Oh yeah. Yeah, 10 times as many people. It's just time. The more you talk, the worse it gets.
stand downwind of those guys. They got gassed. Hey, where was this tear gas for Antifa, you shits? Let them destroy the city on Inauguration Day. Scaffolding, it's a virtual inauguration, you dips! think this is stupid behavior. This is what liberal leftist bullshit does. Not very helpful to our cause. And the cops aren't responsible.
Democracy is over. It's all we got left, man.
You don't attack law
Democracy dies
enforcement.
if we don't fight.
So
We don't fight.
attack those in uniform?
I don't want to. Who's willing to die? Whoever to steal our democracy. If you're not willing to die, then you're not fucking. You're not a patriot. If you're not willing to die, you're not a fucking patriot. We killed the motherfucker. We shot him dead on TV.
Exactly. This is not good. Still going. Just trying to record a couple minutes of this. This is not smart.
Hey, anybody got hit by pepper spray?
USA!
Not good.
Water over here! You got water?
No water.
Man down. That's right! Power to the people!
Hey folks, I'm here at the Capitol building. January 6, 2020. Capitol Police are letting off flashbangs. People have been pushing up against the line. They're getting sprayed with pepper spray. Acting the fool, not the best of ideas. You can hear the flashbangs going off around me here as I spin around so you can see the Capitol building. It's an angry crowd. It's a mean crowd. Feel like I'm at Planet X. It's an ugly planet. It's a bug planet. Crazy stuff, folks. Yep, that's it. Starting to wonder if those flashbangs are people dropping them or it's the cops. They're coming from the same spot.
Our president got big bones, and he put his shit on the line. If you're scared to get a little fucking mace or a little fucking rock, you should stay fucking home. Okay? Our president said, come here, and we have the right to be here. And I represent alpha men. If you got big fucking balls, fuck you out here on the outside. We are the majority. We are here for a fucking reason. Okay? We're here for a fucking reason. I'm here. You can take a fucking picture. USA! USA! Today's the goddamn day. Y'all scared to the hole.
not helpful.
Fuck you! USA! 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 Fuck the blue! Fuck the blue! Fuck the blue! Oh, shit, got my head.
Excuse me.
Oh, hey! Everybody make way! Hey, everybody in their feet!
Open it up. Come this way, the banner's coming.
1, 2, 3, ready! Banners! USA! USA! They got some good fucking language around here.
USA! 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 USA!
Here's your revolution! The shit over! This is our government, baby! This is our fucking bitch ass. Let me shut you down for about half hour.
Lock them up! Lock them up! Traitors! Traitors!
Traitors! Equal police! Weak ass police!
Outbreakers!
Dave! Don't get too close, you get fucked up. I don't know where Josh is. I don't know. Where's Mike? I don't know. Look behind you. You're still there, Craig? No, you ain't. I don't see him, bro. Yeah, that's it.
Who's out?
Out!
Who's out?
Out! Out! Out!
Let Antifa burn your cities to the ground. And this is how you treat us. Pathetic.
Hey, no mic still?
Save our children.
And then you got all these idiot guys still in line. Emasculation of the American man. That's right. I gotta go inside a little bit of a little booth instead of being on the tree.
We need you guys to move forward.
How much?
Oh, shit. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Clearly not a leftist crowd. I never would have seen it again.
That's right.
Oh, he'll be here again.
No, my hat. I never would have seen it again.
He dropped the sign, helping each other out.
If that's Antifa there in the sky, why would we need to advance? There's no reason to advance.
There's no reason.
Violent protest.
There were some provocateurs up there who were starting trouble. Yeah, look at that. It's all the way back to the mall. Trying to get a better view here, but that tree's in the way. You slide over this way, maybe I can get a better view. Thanks. Flashbangs again from the Capitol Police. Thank you.
Because if that were to shift over, I think it would go all the way back to Washington Monument.
Oh, hell no. Only there's, I think it's Right Side Broadcasting News that does all his rallies and shows them from the real perspective.
If you really see what's really going on in other countries, they're more than anybody.
Oh, yeah. It's pathetic. They want us to be owned by a communist country so they can rule the bastards.
Fucking commie!
People thought, like, you really going to get it? I was like, yeah, you're crazy. I was like, this is serious shit.
Well, now that you have a chance to take a look at that footage, if you took a look at my previous video, which was an hour long, and that was the previous nearly 3 hours of content. This was an hour and a half condensed into about 30 minutes, but the other 3 hours was condensed into about an hour. So if you look at this content, you can see for yourself, law-abiding, peaceful assembly, people behaving themselves. Now, I will admit freely that what occurred at the Capitol occurred after my departure at about 14:25, 2:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I left. It was cold. It was getting colder. I had come to cover the event. I couldn't live stream, so I made videos. My battery died on my mobile. My battery was dying on my other mobile. It was time to go. And so I left at about 2:25. Saw TV crews, unidentified, or film crews at least, I don't know if they're TV, down the block, watched them packing up their gear, unmolested. Later heard that TV crews had been assaulted. Perhaps they were, but not from my vantage point. Did not see that happen. And I walked back to my car. By the time I got back to my car, I was setting up my phone on my dashboard to do a live stream because I had a signal once again, and I could tell people what had happened. As I was about to go live, I received a text message, emergency notification, that there was a curfew called in the nation's capital. Considering that 500,000 people were gathered in the nation's capital and they weren't all staying in hotels, many had cars somewhere, I figured the best idea was to get out of town as quick as possible. So I left, I drove, and on the way out of town, I was passed by a couple of dozen of law enforcement agency police vehicles coming from Northern Virginia, coming down the GW Parkway, coming in from on that side of the river from Roslyn, and charging into the nation's capital like a bunch of crazed banshees. I drove, and I got just short of Frederick, Maryland, when my phone continued to blow up. It was getting text messages, WhatsApp, Telegram, and my phone was ringing, and I had no idea why all these people were calling me. When I had left, things were peaceful. I guess I thought maybe people were tired of waiting for my videos because they were expecting live streams. So what I did is I pulled off the side of the road. I looked at my messages. I saw a message from someone in South Africa that said, "Are you okay?" And I responded, "Yeah, why?" "Well, the president has gone on Twitter and asked people to leave the Capitol peacefully and stop because people have broken into the Capitol building." He sent me a clip of the president saying that. And then, of course, Twitter famously deleted and froze Donald Trump's account for trying to stop violence from occurring. They colluded to turn this into something that it wasn't. Twitter did. Funny how the world simply ignoring the fact that Twitter shut down the president of the United States. And by the way, people are saying, why didn't he go in the press? Because the press was empty. There was no press at the White House. They had no interest in covering Donald Trump's failed effort to overturn the election. It didn't interest them. It didn't fit their narrative. So they didn't care. They didn't cover it. They weren't there. So he went on Twitter and broadcast and asked people to behave themselves and leave. Of course, most of us never saw that message, and I was long gone by the time that message was passed. I wouldn't have seen it anyway until I left D.C. because I had no signal. I could get no data while on the mall, which is not unusual. No conspiracy theory here, folks. They normally shut down the data when hundreds of thousands of people show up because you can't have 1 million people on the network sending photos and videos and live streaming simultaneously. It would crash the network. So the phone companies are allowed to prioritize customers. Clearly, I wasn't one of those priority customers on either of my services. So I drove to Frederick, Maryland, pulled off, refueled, and then set up my phone and went on for about 30-minute live stream to talk about what I consider to be a false flag operation based on what I saw. And I stick to my guns today. There were operators there who had nothing to do with Trump. They weren't Trump supporters, yet they were trying to agitate the crowd. Were there Trump supporters who committed crimes? Absolutely. No question about it. Was the FBI or law enforcement involved? I have no idea. That's conspiracy and speculation. I have no evidence to support it. I do have evidence of people who had nothing to do with Trump, who were simply starting trouble. Whether they're just yahoos and opportunists, or they were BLM or Antifa, or they were government agents, I don't know. I don't care. It's not germane. It's not relevant to my story. My story is what happened that day, and that's what you just watched. Feel free to leave a comment or drop a question if you don't mind. I appreciate your support for the channel. And please become a subscriber and spread the word on all social media platforms. Let people know about this channel. After last year's abysmal treatment by the PooTube, it's difficult to rebuild an audience. Thank you very much. Cheers, folks.